if you guys don't know Leviathan, you're crazy. But give me a little backstory. Tell me about yourself. I'm gonna go straight into the interview.
All right. I guess gaming background. Like I grew up. My parents were pretty surprisingly into gaming, and I thought that was normal at the time. And then I grew like a bunch of friends and stuff were like, "Yo, my parents like hate video games. Like they never want me to play at all." But my dad was the one who like every time a new console came out, he would instantly get the new one, and I got to get the hand me down of like, okay, Sega's
cool.
old school now. I got the PlayStation. Oh, yeah. I got the Xbox. You get to keep the PlayStation. So it's kind of cool to.
So your dad was a gamer?
Yeah, dude. Still to this day.
Still?
Like he always will like send me some messages, be like, "Oh, I heard about BlizzCon. Like, what's going on there?"
That's awesome, man. So do you play games with him? Do you have the same tastes?
Not at all. He loves like all the shooters, like looter shooters,
Really?
Borderlands, all that stuff. And I've never been like, I used to play with him, and he would just like headshot me every single time. It's like, this isn't fun.
Yeah. That's cool. So what got you started in content creation? Like, what made you like, you know what? This is cool. I can do this.
It really was the beginning of Diablo 3, like back in May 2012. I was one of those guys just always on the forums trying to soak knowledge, trying to figure out how to play Barbarian better, how to take advantage of the auction house, if you remember that back in the day.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
Just having some good convos with people and realizing that I enjoyed kind of talk about the game, sharing any tips that I figured out or heard from somebody else, made it so that it started out with writing maybe like a longer post on the forums. Then there was the podcast that Diablo Inc. gamers used to do. I would do like a guest spot over there, similar to something like this, right?
Right.
And then eventually I was like, you know what? I can just like, YouTube's free. I can open up a channel, put some stuff up there. I was watching Crip when he first started streaming on Twitch, and I was like, man, that actually looks like a lot of fun. So figured I would open that up too. And the rest, as they say, is history, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. I was curious who you started seeing on Twitch. It was Crip, huh?
So what was your first season as a streamer?
Season 1, actually.
Fuck.
Really?
The very first season.
Wow, man.
Damn.
I didn't even know about Twitch back in season 1, I don't think. So
because that was awesome. 2014. Holy, it's been like 5 years. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think it was like late 14, early 15 when I first saw my first streamer, and it was all downhill from there. As soon as I saw Twitch, I'm like, oh my god, this is it. This is the.
You were a good father, and
yeah, exactly. I was.
All went downhill.
I live in a cardboard box, and my wife left me.
Perfect.
No, just joking. So Fluff's got that straightened out. I'm going to get back to the interview for a second, but Fluff, let's hit these polls up real quick.
Yeah.
From last week.
So last week, we asked, hang on. Damn it. Pull it up. Chat. There we go. Would you rather have new weapon sets or new armor class sets? So like weapon sets, we mean like Volcathos, Jesseth, stuff like that. And armor sets is obviously armor sets. So Leviathan, before we weigh in here, what would you rather have?
It's an interesting question. I think I would have to go with new armor class sets because I just feel like you can enable more with them. To me, it always felt like the weapon sets helped out maybe one particular thing because I'm just thinking about it from a DH perspective, right? Sure. Our Denettas like aren't used at all.
Right. Have you ever done that, like where you swap?
Oh, for like bounties and stuff? I haven't. It's just so cumbersome to do it, but it is like the best way to do it.
Yeah. That's awful. But yeah. So I guess I tend to agree. What do you think, P? What do you think one?
I do.
And what do you think you want? Okay.
I think new weapon sets could be really cool if they're super powerful, but then they're going to pigeonhole you into those weapons. And I mean, I guess the sets would do the same
thing,
really, but the sets, they put damage modifiers on the armor, so it's not like the weapons really are the only ones that have it. Just the way that they do armor, it's like it doesn't really matter. Let's do armor. So
okay.
I'm with Leviathan.
I'm going to go with it too.
Unanimous.
Oh.
76% of the vote says new armor class sets, and 24% of the vote says new weapon sets. There you have it. Blizzard,
I wouldn't complain with either, though. So
you know what? I got to mention something because last podcast we kind of like overlooked something, and when I talked to you about it on Twitter, like right after.
Okay. Yeah.
So last week they came out with that that big article that said, "Hey, the future of Diablo 3," and they said new sets.
Yep.
BlizzCon, 100% BlizzCon. We're getting new Diablo 3 sets because they're going to add to Diablo 3 content at BlizzCon.
Once you told me that, I was like, yeah, I agree. I think they're lining that up. I think that's an easy win. Something to get the crowd maybe excited,
100%.
Yeah. Depending on how they announce it.
Yeah, they're going to lead in like, hey, here's what we've been working on in Diablo 3. Here's the future of Diablo 3. And then, hey, here's the stuff we're adding to Diablo 3. And then they're going to be like, okay, boom, fade to black, Diablo 4 announcement. Probably like no gameplay or anything. And then maybe at the end be like, and there's a Diablo Immortal on your phone.
I got, that's, man, we're so getting away from this interview already.
Yeah, sure.
So we're going to get back to it. But Leviathan, I got to ask you this. Do you think they're going to touch Immortal at this BlizzCon?
Woo,
I am so conflicted because I'm like, dude, don't do it. But then part of me is like, they have to. They have to, man. That's so much money in it.
And that's the thing. I think you're right on the money. They have to because it's a game and it's coming out and it's going to make them money. And we literally haven't heard a single word about it since last BlizzCon. It'd be insane if it goes an entire year. And
I mean, Riker put out a video asking or saying something like it was canceled. I didn't get time to watch it because I just saw it today. I'm like, oh, that'd be interesting. Is it canceled? Like, there's no way.
No.
I got to think that it's just,
That would be crazy. I feel like that'd be even worse for them though, to get all that backlash and then to not actually.
It's just gone. They just never talk about it ever again.
That'd be hilarious.
I mean. That'd be better than saying we canceled it, though. I think they should. If they did, just never talk about it. Like it did never happen. I think they're going to talk about it. I just don't see how they can ever present that at BlizzCon without a boo. I don't see how they can do it. I don't care if they like D3's getting this stuff. Diablo 4 comes out, and then while you wait, Diablo Immortal, everybody could be on cloud 9 from the D4, and they're still gonna boo when Immortal comes up on the screen. I just don't see how they can talk about it.
It's just it's the reputation of the game at this point. I think they still I'm with you, like they can't get a win out of it. I think they just touch it the lightest possible. They're like, it's free to download for you right now on your phone and just move on,
Yeah. I think if they said it was free, maybe that they could, if they just did that, that
would help a little bit.
I don't think it's gonna I'm so curious about pricing model too. But let's go. What's our new poll, Fluff?
The new poll for next week, I have to pull it back up, man, is the classic poll. What class are you starting in Season 18? Obviously, Demon Hunter, Monk, Wizard, Necromancer, Witch Doctor, Barbarian.
Leviathan, you're actually not going to play a Demon Hunter? What's this?
It's weird.
The classic. No, I'll definitely start Demon Hunter.
You're saying classic. Wow, I'm sorry. No, he said Season 18. I don't know.
Season 18.
Things.
Yeah,
I'm tripping. I was thinking classic. I heard the word classic, and I'm like, wow. Wait,
classic was wrong.
What?
You think I would make a poll about WoW Classic?
I can't wait. I am so excited. But okay.
Oh my god.
You're already in next week, aren't you?
Oh man, I am. Monday's gonna be awesome.
Amazing.
So you're not gonna play Demon Hunter next season? Are you gonna do all classes again, like you did this season?
Definitely not all classes. That was like too much. I learned a lot, but it was overwhelming at times because it felt like, to some degree, it felt like I kind of had to just like crib sheet it a little bit, like look at other people's setups, and didn't learn as much as I wanted to because I was just trying to rush through a bunch. This time, I think I really want to nail down like maybe 2 to 3 at most, and just deep dive. Like Wizard for sure, I want to go deep on, and plus I think it's just going to be really powerful. I'll start Demon Hunter because that's just what I'm familiar with. And then maybe one more like Witch. I did Lawn Dagger Darts. I don't know if you guys have messed with that.
Yeah,
it was so much fun.
Mm-hmm. What made it fun for you? Like, why?
I think just the place that, like, I always played Witch Doctor like back in vanilla, and back then it was still kind of like a weird class. Like zombie bears was the thing to do. Mm-hmm. I don't know, it just didn't feel very like as exciting as some of the other classes, but for whatever reason, something about like just the fetishes, and you benefit actually from 2 different COE cycles, both physical and poison. So that's kind of interesting on its own. There's good grouping with it. Like, I don't know, it just does a bunch of different things really well.
That's cool. I Witch Doctor is my least played class.
we know.
Oh, no way.
Like I don't think I've got like maybe 50 hours of Witch Doctor. It's so little. It's insane considering how much I played everything else. So I'm gonna jump back to the interview questions real quick. You started you know, I'm assuming Diablo's the first game you streamed because you said your intro you watched Crip and started. Did you do YouTube first or Twitch first?
Oh, what did I do? Oh, okay. So I had a YouTube channel originally, and I put up like and actually that stuff is still there too. If you go back, it's the most lame stuff from like college, like rollerblading and doing jumps.
Hell yeah. Can we pull
Some
it up?
Guitar Hero stuff. Like with like 180p. That was awful.
Yeah, we all have a couple of those on there.
Absolutely.
I actually removed mine a little bit later. Like I some
Cleaned
of
it
the
up.
super lame ones, I just hit them. So like I turned it off. They're private now. I'm like, man, I don't want anybody seeing this. But I couldn't delete it though. It's still there.
Yeah, it's like it's part of your essence, part of your beginnings.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did you start off and say it's your boy?
No, I don't think I had I wasn't cool yet, or not yet. I don't even know if I'm cool now. I didn't have like any taglines. I feel like the more I watched other people do it, especially like when Riker, everyone started to post his like "Hey folks" in Reddit and stuff. I'm like, you gotta have a thing,
Yeah, it's so hard to get that thing too and be original too.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you can now.
There's so many that are taken at this point.
Yeah, everything's taken. I don't know how you can be original at this point.
Smash that like button.
Smash the like button. It's your boy.
Destroy.
Coming at you.
Yeah, man, you get
What's going on YouTube?
you got some sick rock band compilations on here, dude.
Oh man.
Oh, you're checking out the old. Oh no, he's digging in.
Those views are gonna jump up so much in the next couple of days. You're like, oh man, why did I say that? So you started streaming Diablo, and then so like, what grabbed you with Diablo? You said you started playing other games initially. Like, what was it? It was just like,
It's the
how did you find it? First off, I guess
that's a great question. So back in middle school, I had like another like really cool gaming memory was one of my best friends, Edwin Sanchez, who actually now streams too. He and his brother Lewis were like huge gamers. I went to their house one time and they had this den that was like wall to wall, just covered with SNES games, Nintendo, like every system you name it. They probably had like 100+ games for it.
Damn,
I don't know how they like afford it. It was nuts. I was like, you guys like basically live at a GameStop. Like this is insane. So he was the one who, when I finally got like a decent desktop, he's like, you gotta try this Diablo game, Diablo 2. He's like, LOD's coming out, which I was like, what the heck is LOD? I don't know what that is. It's like Lord of Destruction, new expansion coming out like in a month. So let's just start playing D2, get you familiar. And he was the one who really trained me up. And that summer, I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm off. You don't have to train me anymore. And I just played like, I can recall like 8-hour+ sessions, which at that time I was like, holy moly, this is so much playing of just nothing but cows, just farming on the Magic Find Sorceress, just cows after cows after cows. And that was the beginning of falling in love with it, because it was this idea that like the more time I put in, the more I could get out of it. My character got better. I would find new things, make new friends. And such like that developed for me like in all other aspects of life too, because I then started to do running in like middle school, high school, college, etc. There's that same sort of core idea of like the more I went out for a run, if I missed a day, I wasn't going to get better, right? The same thing of like if I miss a day of playing D2, like that's one less chance at finding that Scolders Ire or Shaco or whatever,
Right. Yeah, that's awesome, man. So what keeps you into Diablo now? Like, Diablo's been in these ups and downs, lulls of content, then we start getting stuff again. Like, what keeps you coming back?
All right, this is a really timely question. This is like exclusive content for you guys right now. So I don't know if you've noticed, I changed my Twitter handle from Leviathan D3 to Leviathan.
Oh, no.
I love Leviathan, man.
Yeah, dude. I was like, you gotta rip that A out of there.
You don't even realize I just rebranded you.
Yeah,
it's so unique.
It works.
Oh,
You're
man,
welcome.
That's
free.
how I differentiate myself. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No worries. So I got rid of the D3 out of my name, and it was kind of coming off of this feeling that maybe I was starting to feel done with D3. It felt, I'm sure you guys probably feel this too, at least before that blog post that just came out. I was like, it just like maintenance mode is happening. I find myself playing other games more, like Path of Exile I was really interested in, with Betrayal and Onward. Playing more Hearthstone. Like, it just felt like it was becoming harder to log in. Teamfight Tactics came out for League, and I was like, this is amazing. I could see myself streaming this more, playing this more. So I was almost going to start to diversify away, because it just felt like there wasn't going to be, like, after I played every class and did like the most powerful builds and stuff, like, what else is left? And then when they finally put that blog post out, I was like, I can't believe I just changed my name and now they're doing this. Like, it's going to bring me back in. And just to answer your question, it's the idea of just more discovery. Like, because that's the reason I got into the whole content thing, is to discover stuff and then share it with people. Like, to have a video point of reference to say, yo, go check out this one crazy Greater Rift that we had. Go check out this build idea that, you know, someone in stream was like, put on this item, it's going to work. And we went out and tried it. The fact that we can have more of those opportunities as they add more items, more sets, it's going to, you know, prolong coming back and turning the game on again and again.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. And we already touched on this some, but like for you, season 17, you quoted that it was your most successful season ever. And so I looked at the stats you were posting. It was pretty impressive, man. You had top 35 on like every class, pretty much. You had rank 3 Crusader, rank 4 DH, and rank 8 Witch Doctor. That's pretty impressive, man. That's a good season. So
650 hours. Woo.
Yeah, crazy. 651 hours, 3,111
fucking bro.
What was it, man? What sucked you in that season so hard? Why was it so successful? You know,
I'm still trying to figure that one out, because
like, I think crazy hours to play, and you know, and this late in this
late, and that is the
that's
like
the thing
the
that
big
gets me.
there.
It's like, man,
like after 18 seasons, why now, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think sometimes I just randomly get motivated. Like, I think the last time this happened was season 14, and I just woke up like, you know, a couple of days before the season. I was like, I want this one to be, you know, a really hard effort. I'm gonna group as much as I can. I'm gonna play like kind of meta with my DH as much as I can. For whatever reason, this time around, I really want to go solo self-found and just I think in a way, like whenever I decide I have something to prove to people, then that's what motivates me. And I think I wanted to prove to people that you could be incredibly successful in terms of like how you define success, whether that's high Paragon, high leaderboard clears, just consistency, being able to play, you know, for like a good 6 hours every day or so, and show that it's possible. So that was sort of the thing that, even though in the middle I took some time away to like I said, play TFT and definitely just not try to burn out, take a little bit of a break. But the idea was to really drive home, like, playing solo, even after, you know, guys, we'll probably talk about solo self-found league in a bit. After that was done, because it's only the first month of the season, people are like, oh, so you're going to group now. Now you're going to, like, you know, open up a little bit more. I was like, no, I got to keep pushing this solo thing forward, because if I do it for a whole season, you'll be able to say, oh, it's not just, like, the groupers that get the best advantage. Like, sure, you get a huge amount of advantage from grouping, but if you play super hard and dedicated, you can definitely make some waves.
Sure. And that, to boil down,
awesome,
if anyone wants to know the math, that's 3.3 hours a day to get to 651. Yeah, which is really not that much if you think about it.
That's pretty dedicated though.
Yeah,
I mean, that's like
100%.
Not missing a day. To me,
in the season.
like Leviathan's like, it's not that much. I'm like, that's dedication though, dude. That's like 7 days a week. You know what I mean?
That's
like
true.
no time off.
But
So
I miss those days. Like the seasons were so fresh that you like. I was like 8 hour plus a day for some of those seasons.
The start of the season is so fun for me, but I don't have the longevity now that I used to. Like, you know, back earlier seasons, single digit seasons, and like 12 and maybe 13, it was like I wanted to play every day, 7 days a week for the entire season. And now it's like it's the initial month, I think, sucks me in pretty good. But then after that, it's like, okay, let's start diversifying a little bit, playing.
That's when you start looking elsewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think it happens to a lot of people too.
Yeah, and I think that's okay. I think that's healthy, more healthy than just like consuming yourself with a game. Honestly, I'm not saying it's wrong if you do that, but you know, just like like Fluff and I have talked about a lot. Like PoE has the cadence of it's okay, people leave. We know they're going to come back when we do the new league in 3 months or however long their cadence cycle is. And I think that's pretty awesome. If you can find 2 or 3 games that have a nice cadence like that, consistent cadence, then it's like boom, 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 boom. You're always
right. You get to bounce, and everything stays fresh. That's true.
So, I mean, this is a D3 podcast. Only play D3. Never touch anything else.
Especially not WoW Classic.
Yeah. All right. So this is kind of a little bit loaded question, and I'll ask it. And if you don't have an answer right now, maybe we can come back to it later. But let's say you're put in the driver's seat. You're in charge of D3. What's an quote easy win change that you would make? And then what are some unrealistic, like long term, like this is what I want to see evolve? Do you have any easy wins you think that, man, they just haven't tapped into? Some minor changes. And I know that's like a super on the spot question.
Big question. Yeah. I'll give you some of the stuff that I thought about when the blog post came out, because in a way that sort of put the ideas on the table of like, hey, just because you have some D3 ideas doesn't mean that they might not happen, since they are going to keep actively working on it. Who knows how long it'll take for some of that stuff. But when they said that there could be some more quality of life, I instantly was thinking like, all right, give us the ability to close greater rifts without leaving the game. So when you're fishing, you can just stay in that game and just, rail them off. It would make that process so much just more palatable. I think that's an easy win for sure. Yeah. That maybe doesn't satisfy everybody, because I know not a lot of people end up like pushing and fishing and stuff like that. But even something that would hit everybody would be like allow us to gamble for different classes at Kadala while you're on whatever. So if I'm on my Demon Hunter,
I like that a lot.
Just like give me a drop down, boom, wizard. Now I'm just gambling wizard items.
Mm-hmm. See, I've had this discussion about that where like, and I'm gonna make more WoW references. So there's like a little game the community plays. They drink every time I make a WoW reference. Okay, so they're getting really toasted tonight. WoW, you can change your spec. In retail WoW now, you can change the spec of the items you want to drop. And I think Diablo could adopt something like that. And I mean, that might be too much though. But like you're saying, gamble a different class, or maybe change a drop down to say, hey, I want to get loot that has dex on it, or I want to get loot that has, for my Demon Hunter, or my monk, for my barb, I want strength. That could make the game too casual though, because then you're just going to get all your characters on your main.
Yep.
And it's
you already do that.
I don't know.
I think like anytime you have to log out and then log back in, that breaks up the fluidity of the game. Like it's just not
It prevents
good.
me from doing it though. Yeah. Like I won't log on my alt and spend blood shards unless I'm super desperate for that alt, because I hate to do it. I just like, man.
You just never have to exit the lobby. Like to reset bounties, there should be a way to do that in game. To roll other classes on blood shards, there should be a way to do that. Leaving the game is just you don't want players to leave the game. You're giving them the opportunity to walk away when you like log.
That's exactly it. Like I've definitely had some groups where I'm like, oh, this group is so sick, and then there'll be that one guy who's like, oh, my wife like wants me to come look at something, and then suddenly this guy realizes, oh, I've been playing for like 6 hours. Let me go take a break. And that group just never comes back together again. As soon as like Fluffy said, someone breaks the flow. Yeah. Or even if you have to leave the game, it really it can help you lose like a good streak or whatever.
Yeah.
So what crazy changes do you have? Do you have anything like kind of like, there's no way this is going to happen, but if I was dreaming, like this is what I want?
Crazy changes, dude. I think it kind of boggles my mind that do you guys remember when we first had to farm Greater Rift keys from that arena kind of thing? The trials?
The trials. Mm-hmm.
So I have to believe that they still have that like in the background just turned off. And I always thought that they could have turned that into like content, like just have a wave kind of mode thing. Mm-hmm. It changes the pace of stuff because you're now standing in one spot. It's almost like the thing that you try to create in Greater Rifts in 4-player games where you like bring everything to one spot, but this literally just puts you there. And then you just determine like, I don't know, rewards based on whatever wave you get to. Maybe you get a chance to go every 5 and then step away if you think it's going to get too hard in the next 5 or something, scale it up. But just different end games. That's one. And I think like
I always thought they could take that pit and put people in there at naked and just have the loot that drops be what you equip to continue. Okay. And then so like you're trying to piece together the best set that you can, right? So maybe like scale the difficulty super low, and then you can kind of choose like I want to go up 5 levels or 2 levels or 1 level. and then keep doing that. And as you get more loot, like you have a timer in the middle. Let's say it's like 3 minutes, and you're like trying really quick to like, oh, hey, who got the Tal Rasha set piece? Oh, I did. Here, you can have that. And then you're trying to put these sets together to go higher and higher, and then see what you can get. But to put a caveat on that, like if you fail, you don't get anything from it. But if you you either have to choose continue or choose quit to get your reward. Like I thought they could do something like that. That'd be super sick, but I don't know.
Interesting.
That could be super time investment too.
Yeah, and that's what always I feel like prevents like some really cool ideas from getting off the ground, because you're like, they're never gonna do this. It takes too much time or something.
Right.
Yeah,
that'd be so sick, because that actually reminds me a lot of I don't know how much you guys play card games, but like draft mode in Magic, or
exactly.
even TFT. Like you're trying to assemble these comps or these decks or whatever just from what you're given. You open up a fresh pack or something, like, all right, we got to make this work.
Yeah, Hearthstone has the arena mode like that, right? Isn't that how that works? Yeah,
exactly.
So with it. And then I guess I'm going to follow this up with one more kind of interview question. Do you play anything besides Diablo? I mean, you kind of answered that a little bit, but like, what are your big, like, I kind of really gravitate towards this, if you have any?
So it's before 2 years ago, I would have been like, oh, I played D3 and that's it. I started, like, one of my goals, people sometimes will set those, what are they called? New Year's resolutions that you never follow anyways.
Yeah.
I started out 2017. I was like, my New Year's resolution is just play some different games. Like I've been playing D3 for so freaking long, man. And everyone talks about how awesome, this game is, or No Man's Sky, or like whatever. That's probably a bad example. But in any case, like, I wanted to make sure I was trying to at least play other ARPGs just to have a frame of reference to like what else is good out there. So picking up Path of Exile, like I'd mentioned, started playing that around Betrayal. I've missed a couple of leagues here and there, but I definitely have learned a lot in that game. And it's a good reflection to bring back to D3 and be like, wow, D3 is kind of simple when you look at PoE.
Yeah, I agree.
Recently been playing Teamfight Tactics, which is really fun, although that's getting a little old now too, because it was brand new and it was really unsolved, and now that's kind of solved, but they're trying to shake the meta up a little bit. And then as far as like non-computer games, I actually really like Final Fantasy. That's probably the series I got into the most before finding Diablo.
I'm with you on that, man. What was your first one? Was it 7? Please say 7.
Go up 1.
8? You didn't
start
the first one?
Wow. Over 7?
and see, like 8's one of my favorites, and historically the communities hate 8.
Don't like it, yeah.
And I love 8, man. I don't know.
It's so good.
It was just a follow-up.
The first
so hard,
it
man.
was a follow-up to 7, right? Like nothing could have done great after 7.
I was all over 8. I loved it, man. I wanted. Yeah, that game was amazing. So, did you know? Fun fact: the remake comes out in like 2-3 weeks, something like that.
What's with you and remakes? Nope. We're gonna get to the point where, like, you go to the movies and everything's a remake. That's what gaming is shifting towards. We're not gonna play any new titles. It's gonna be all
Final
remakes.
Fantasy 7 and 8 were like those are my games, man. So I'm all over that. And speaking of going to the movies, 47 meters uncaged down, whatever that stupid shark movie is right now. I let my wife pick the movie this weekend. She picked that.
On purpose?
Please, just don't.
Like,
don't do it.
It was so bad. It was so bad.
Wow. Why would you do that?
I don't know.
She set you up.
2.6.6 is live.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
So first, if you guys don't know, you have to like actually farm bounties to get the recipe, which I didn't realize. I just thought I could log in. I was like, I want to cast some crimsons and
Can't
some
they drop
Ogils.
Can they drop from puzzle rings?
Yeah, if you get an Odious Collector, they have the chance to drop them.
I wonder if it would be faster. I mean, you got to have the mats, but non-season, I already have so many mats. It's
Right.
Like, one one's faster.
Let me craft, dude. But yeah, so I'm to farm bounties after the stream. But yeah,
I love bounties.
so we'll just kind of like,
I actually don't mind bounties either, to be honest.
really.
I'm totally being sarcastic.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too. I hate bounties.
Have you ever heard that?
I think.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's like I know a lot of people don't like them because it's like World Quest and like WoW and like all those sort of like tedious things it feels like you have to do. I just like it as a break from like all I do is Greater Rifts, all I do is Rift. It's at least like not Rifts. It's not the most engaging or exciting thing, but it's different.
there has to be something else in there. No matter what it is, we're not going to like it because it's going to prevent us from doing rifts. So, like, it's okay. I'm okay with it, you know, but
that's fair.
Yeah. I would never do them solo. I think if you're doing them solo, something, you know, you like inflicted pain on yourself, just like the SVR story.
Yeah, that's true.
You gotta have a team, man. I'll pug it. Like, I'll go into random, like, I don't know anybody in here. Like, let's just pug some bounties.
With one guy standing in town, another guy dying.
Another guy botting, just running in circles. You know, it's always something in the public bounties. So.
Best.
I streamed some dude for 15 minutes doing that one day. I just followed him as he just kept running back and forth. I'm like,
exposed.
What are you gonna do?
But yeah, so red text is obviously, as you guys know, is like changes or clarification that they've made since the PTR. And so thank God, first and foremost, they came out with the flavor of time. They clarified that only the wearers of this gain the effect.
Yeah.
Which is intended. Yeah. Which is great. Execution of this power does not work on followers. That was probably my number one question on YouTube for like that 1 week that PTR was up. It's like, oh, execution is gonna be so good on the Enchantress. I'm like, it doesn't fucking work.
I didn't even assume it would work on the follower.
Yeah, I didn't think it would either.
I was like, there's no way that's gonna work on the follower. Like, I didn't even I wouldn't even have probably tested it. I was like, I don't think it's.
Yeah, I immediately tested it. I was like, there's no way, guys. And then it didn't.
I had to try it just because. You know, as a solo player, I'm like, holy crap, this could actually be huge. Since
that would have been crazy.
Follower all the time.
Yeah, that'd have been
your
nuts.
follower is actually doing something. What?
That doesn't happen in this game.
No.
What are your thoughts on the new flavor of time, Leviathan?
On what?
The flavor of time, the pylon effects lasting twice as long.
I like it. And I've heard like both sides of the argument, but I'm going to argue for it just because it's fun. Like, one of the most fun things I had testing today was just when you pop into a rift, doesn't even matter if it's a good or bad when you have first pylon speed. I'm like, dude, I have speed for 2 minutes. Just watch me get all the rest of the pylons.
Right.
And then just you almost turn it into like a speed run of the greater rift. You're like, all right, I'm going to kill. All right, we got power now. Let's go. And just try to keep it rolling. It creates some fun moments. It definitely, it's a big power spike for sure.
Right. Especially like DH, because DH was only like Hellfire forever, right? Like for a lot of those. Yeah. So that's pretty pog. Have you played with squirts at all on the DH?
Oh, dude. So the biggest disappointment of the day for me was actually squirts. Really? I thought it was going to be good in multi-shot because I'm like, well, at least you're at range, so you won't get hit by stuff. Dude, you get hit by way more things than you think.
Yeah.
Like, I was noticing everything. I was like, wait, why is that little arrow? Okay, squirt's gone. Oh, look, I'm just vaulting through. Oh, there's an electrified. Squirt's gone.
Damn. I'll have to play that
brutal.
Too. Yeah. But yeah, Stone Gauntlets, they changed the text, which is great. It was super confusing before. And then they go out on the note. I don't know if you saw this or not, ThaPChild, but we kind of like talked about this when we had SVR on the podcast, where they kind of like inadvertently like took credit for, oh yeah, well, immunity control CC reduction will like make this item good. Like, there's no way that they thought that item was going to do that.
I read that, and I instantly thought you were going to say that they didn't plan that, and then it's like, oh yeah, it's intended.
There's no way it's intended.
I instantly was like, oh, Fluff's going to say something about that when I read it.
It's like
I kind of agree. I think it's one of those things where it just worked that way, and either A, they can't fix it, or B, they're like, it's okay.
It's a cool idea. You know? Like, oh, it's like this undiscovered, like, oh, that's actually kind of cool how that works out. And so it was kind of garbage if that wasn't how it worked.
Yeah.
So why not keep it?
Because even because people are like, oh, it's like a Thorns item or something. But even when you think about the Thorns builds, Invokers needs to attack to apply Thorns. And even you can clarify this for Necro too, but if you're using Necro, it's going to slow down your skeletons from stacking Bone Ringer, right?
Yeah. Attack speed.
So like, it's just not useful at all.
Yeah.
But don't worry, guys, it's not a bug; it's a feature.
Sure. But yeah, I just found that to be really funny. It's like,
it's
working as intended.
Echoing Fury, this item's power now works on kills and assists and pet kills, which is all those kill items. That's great news. What do you think about the new Echoing Fury, Leviathan?
I'm trying to find out where it fits. It definitely. I was trying to make it work in Shadow Impale, just because you do like attack speed in that build. But Demon Hunter is one of those ones where it's a bit unfortunate. You have Dawn, and that's it. Like, you need to cube Dawn for the most part, unless you're using an Obsidian Ring just to keep Vengeance up, because that's such an important skill.
Yeah.
Tuba, who's in chat, he was actually testing it out on the Whirlwind Barbarian, and it actually looked like it was pretty good there. So you just like get crazy attack speed, which buffs up Whirlwind.
That's really the only case I could find it was like pretty decent to throw in. You could do like on Necro, like early season, like until you get the Scythe, but I couldn't find.
Oh, like a starter thing,
right? I couldn't find any other reason to use it.
Oh, you know what, people? One thing I didn't get to try yet, because I'm still leveling up my Legacy of Dreams, is actually for Dagger of Darts. People are saying they might drop Sacred Harvester, so you lose a little bit of defense. But yeah, that build loves attack speed because it's all just your generator that you use, the Poison Dart. So that could be something.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Could be eating our words in the next season.
All right. Someone's going to clip it. They always do.
Yeah. Same with Measures Reaver. Works on kills, pets, assists. This is like, I don't know. I know Support Necro already has like 100% uptime on Land of Dead, but this could make it so that like literally anyone could run Support Necro and be successful, I feel like.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Reaver, Leviathan?
No CDR necessary. One of the things that I think you'll probably see is before people min-max their builds, right? Like before you have all the rolls of CDR where you need them and stuff for those heavy ones, this is like that item to get you there. So even Archon, Varus Chantotos, like you put on Messersmiths in your cube, and literally like while you're killing in Archon, the actual Archon skill is resetting its cooldown. So by the time you pop out, and you wouldn't even want to pop right back in because you have to stack your Chantotos outside. Right. But you literally could. Like you may not even need like Gogok or like it's crazy. Wow. So it's one of those things where it'll definitely ease the woes of maybe like I don't know more casual players that don't want to min-max stuff.
Speed.
But
farming builds could probably use that a lot too. You know, they can get the smoking T13s to 16s and just instantly go back in because you don't need the Chantoto stacks.
True.
Maybe, you know,
that's also true.
And then Mortix Brace. First of all, where were you during the Mortix Brace scandal? Do you remember that?
Hopefully playing a Demon Hunter. So
where were you? Except, you know what's funny is that was one of the few times. So I've transitioned from class to class. When Reaper of Souls first came out, I was huge into Crusader. That was all I played. And then the Roland set came out because if you remember, Crusader didn't have all their sets at once. They piecemealed it. And then Roland's came out, and I hated Shield Bash like so much as a playstyle. I was like, screw this. I'm going back to Barb, which was what I played the most in vanilla. And the PTR had popped up with Mortix Brace. I was like, dude, this is sick. You get all the runes. What? This is nuts.
It was so OP.
And everybody remembers the bait and switch when it did come out. So, oh my gosh. I was laughing my butt or ass. I don't know if you
At least, I mean, it sounds like you guys were smart enough to get the memo that, we didn't put it in. I don't think I knew for like 2 days.
Oh, no. Were you like gambling bracers?
Yeah, man. And I'm sitting here thinking I had the worst luck in the history of the world. And finally, like, one of my buddies, I did like this crazy long session, and finally my buddies got on, and I'm like, hey, man, I'm still gambling these fucking bracers. And they're like, dude, they didn't put those in. And I'm like, you're a liar. And like, you know, I went and checked, and I'm
solid.
Like, I was mad. I was
classic P.
Yeah. I mean, I was grinding, so I wasn't on the forums and stuff back. I don't even. How did you get info back then? I don't. Was it forums?
Forums and Reddit, man. Way it's always been.
I mean, I don't think I was even on Reddit that much at that point.
Yeah.
But I was grinding hard, man. I was hitting it. I was like, let's do it.
Little did you know.
Yeah. And then Spite, you probably played more Witch Doctor than both of us. What do you think about Spite?
And that's not saying much because I don't think my Witch Doctor's over 100 hours played lifetime yet. Right. I can't really. I don't know. I think this is more like a quality of life thing for like Helltooth Gargantuan or Zunimasa pet stuff. Like anyone that's going to be trying to make the pets work, because you always wanted to take. Forget exactly which rune it is. It might be Humongoid or something. You always want to take a certain rune for Gargantuan. So I think this opens that up a little bit since it makes it default. Because the cleave is really good if you get it and you always want it. So I don't know. I'm not sure where this gets used, but
yeah,
seems good. I guess it's nice and it's easy to get because you just craft it from Hadrig.
And then the Legacy of Dreams. Do you think this was a good idea?
I thought that this was a really clever way to bottle up a seasonal theme. and just like it's basically when I saw this, I was like, oh, they're doing the PoE thing. We're taking this league and making it core, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think
Hey,
this
borrow ideas.
Do you
I
think this
that's good.
sets precedents going forward that we should expect seasonal themes to roll over?
It might. It definitely could, because I could definitely see them being like, hey, but you did this one gem. Like, I like this triune thing. I want a gem that gives me 3 circles I can choose from or whatever.
Gem a triune.
I
Right.
could see them
Right.
changing Oculus to do that. For sure.
Ooh, that actually be kind of cool.
Yeah. I wouldn't
It'll be a
mind
buffed up Oculus since you get already the better
Right.
power.
it. Mhm.
My follower needs upgrades. I mean, I'm down. You know.
Or just delete
Yeah, that's
it.
true. We just birth an idea right there.
Right.
But yeah, that's pretty much all
Ooh,
they
what
fixed.
if they made a follower item, like instead of the infinite health, so they could get the triune thing? Then you'd have
Like
to
the-
make choices.
the relic?
Then you'd have to make choices. Do I want him to always be alive, or do I want these random circles sometimes?
They'd have to fix that bug where like he dies and he like procs 2 or whatever, because that could be pretty good.
Or maybe that's a feature.
Right?
Yeah, that's intended. How toxicity is rubbing off.
Oh no. What's happening?
Careful.
Right. Yeah. I don't know about that. But yeah, so the biggest fear I had going into the season was the Captain Crimson snapshotting. So thank God that's fixed, because that would have been awful.
Yeah.
And then Scorched Necklace, I haven't got to try it yet after the 50% cap increase, because on PTR I was like, oh, this item's great, but you're only taking 5% increased damage, so it could kill Necro. So who knows? What do you think about these two? Or, I already told you the
So it
Scorched,
works.
but yeah.
Because I play hardcore, right? And like the only time I ever proc today was when I was using squirts. And I think that's also part of why I don't like it now.
Yeah.
Because I guess it actually gives you the real damage reduction.
Yeah.
It's good. You know what though? It reminds me a lot of like D2 style type items, or even like PoE, where you have the trade off, right? Like you're gonna get good power, but you have to pay for it in a way. So in the same way, like how some legendaries or uniques might give you crazy, I don't know, attack speed or whatever, but as a result, you get like less resistances or like less of what you might normally get on a rare piece or something.
Right.
And it's kind of like in that direction, which is cool.
Yeah. So moving on to a next subject, SSF League. So this is something that you've done, I think, like a few times, really, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is something I'm going to be trying for the first time. There's actually kind of a quasi-official SSF League out there, and Leviathan's been doing it for a few seasons. I'm going to first time do it. I'm just going to link this in chat real quick. But what?
Do you know who created this?
I don't.
This is this guy.
Oh, you did it?
Yeah, that's why I love solo so much, man.
Damn, son. So you can't really tell us anything about it then. Oh shit.
No, yeah, I have no idea of what this is all about at all.
So
Shit,
for
what?
those who don't know what SSF is,
Yeah.
tell them what
Yes.
it means. Some people are
So-
like, I don't even know what that means.
Solo cell phone. That actually is a really common question, which is surprising because I always thought it was a common thing. When I first saw it, like mainly being pushed around in PoE, I was like, oh, it's just like an ARPG thing where you play solo and you're just trying to only, help a character on its own. Like there's no assistance from other players, no trading, stuff like that. And obviously in D3, the biggest thing that I always saw when I was trying to really push this forward, they're like, oh, but it's already solo cell phones. You can't trade. Like, everything's account bound, you idiot. And the idea is that, yes, that's true, but you get such a crazy advantage from groups, like more than any purely solo player would ever be able to, try to compete with. And the idea was, if you have players like that who just truly enjoy logging in, doing their own thing, whether it's hella efficient or they're like spending 15 minutes in town while they like find the next Jessica Jones episode or something, they need someone else to compare themselves to at times, or just find that community. And since it was lacking, I was like, dude, let's just create it. It was an idea that myself, actually SVR, and Bagstone, who does some stuff with D-Fans, for maybe a year, we're just batting around. We're like, we could create this, maybe have this like Discord for it, and we'll have trackers and spreadsheets and whatnot.
It's crazy.
Try to make it as official as we can unofficially do it.
Right.
And we never like fully pushed the go button. So I think it was the very first season 13. I was like, dude, so let's just make it. I'm gonna I don't know how to program. I don't make websites. I'm just gonna go to Google Docs. I'm gonna type some stuff out, We're going to codify the rules. Hopefully people follow. You know, it's going to be a lot of trust.
Right.
You know, abiding by trust. Because why would you do this and come cheat if you literally get nothing from it? There's no prize, no nothing. So I just wanted to put it out there, and the interest was like crazy initially. Like there were so many people. Like I would love the fact that I can play solo and have it like be more meaningful. I'm gonna join the Discord, talk to people. Like people are chatting it up. And sadly for me, I was working full time at that time, so I couldn't like keep up with the demand, and I felt I wasn't like helping the league grow the way I wanted it to. So I actually took a step back from it, and I handed it off to Garfum, who now runs it. And in a way, it worked out because he made different changes to it. Like instead of running it all season long, where a lot of people burn out on just playing solo all the time, he made it just the first month. And that was great because you could also then change from being solo for that first month and then go play groups with your friends after that.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's pretty cool. I agree. I like that change. I think that would, there's no way I could do an entire season solo because I love the group, but the 1 month would be,
you know,
pull that off.
and it's, for me, it's like the total opposite, at least in my lifetime of Diablo. It's like, I hate the idea of like, I have to do those rat runs, you know, like I have to do those runs in a group. Like I have to find a group. I got to get going to get the maximum amount of parry I can possibly do. And so just like eliminating that is like super appealing. So I've basically been doing it anyways. So
I want to check in with you like after you've done it, maybe for like a couple weeks, because I feel like it actually changes your mindset a lot. And maybe you already feel this way because you said you kind of been doing it, but just knowing that you don't have to subscribe, like there is an SSF meta in a way, because like one class will be the best at, you know, speed farming, so like wizard or something probably. But just knowing that you don't have to log in and feel really bad if you're not on a necro, if you're not in these speed groups, it's so freeing. Because now you're just like, I run my own town. Like I get to do whatever the heck I want.
Yeah, I'd love to see a lot. Go ahead.
Oh, you break it down at the end by class too. So
yeah,
I mean, I know these guys can play, like, let's say Crusade, like Condemn. The season that Condemn was super OP. Everybody was running Condemn to push these rifts or playing Crusaders or whatever. If you didn't want to play Crusader, they had a Witch Doctor board. Like your SSF League had Witch Doctor placement. So I mean, I know it would influence your Paragon and stuff. But
yeah, I'd love to see it locked down further. Like, so you can only play, like, if you're gonna push Necro, you can only play the Necro. You can't hop on an Archon Wiz and grind Paragon.
So we thought about that. It would be tough because, I mean, I guess in a way, maybe not, because if you were to post like a solo wizard clear and be like, okay, now you're eliminated because, you know, you did a wizard, but then you also have a witch doctor that you're trying to submit. We actually thought about like mono SSF leagues where you would just be able, like everyone funneled into one class to really push the competition. But I think what we ultimately decided was it would probably be more people opting out. And since it's already such a like niche, like very few amount of people opting in, you're going to limit that even more, and then it might not feel as alive, you know?
Sure. Yeah, I get that.
But is it, like, I think
one of the few things you can actually track, you know, it's like hours played on classes. So
I mean, there's your outlandish request right there.
Why? Yeah, why don't SSF in official SSF in D3?
There you go, man.
Not really outlandish. It's just
I mean, I think that has potential to put, you know, to make it like. How cool would it be to have that character that's bound SSF, and then you could still play group season if you wanted? It's just like another subset, and then boom. What are you doing tonight? Oh, I'm an SSF character. What are you doing tomorrow? I'm grouping tonight, boys. You know, let's go hang out.
Yeah,
it'd be such a good thing. So,
do you think, just to turn toxic for a second, do you think that bots would be more rampant if they had those two leagues, like, separated? Do you think they'd be more rampant in the SSF or the group league?
That was one of the initial criticisms as well, that botters would still gain a really good advantage because, you know, they could bot their solo bounties, and then that's something that a lot of SSF, like one of the cool things about SSF is it actually de-emphasizes bounties a lot because it's such a time killer. Like it really is inefficient to do it. So you more work on just doing a bunch of GRs as much as possible and kind of live off the drops you get.
Right.
But yeah, if someone's botting their like bounties or even botting like overnight like GR keys or whatever, I think those advantages are a bit more distinct in solo because it's harder. Think about it this way, right? Like if you were to go on vacation for a week in SSF, like you probably don't catch up, right? Especially if it's 4 weeks. So it does give a bit of a botter's advantage. But the upside is that, you know, I'm actually really proud of this because we put an admin team together to check a lot of different things that, to the best of our ability, we can check to make sure players are like abiding by the rules. And we actually did catch a few botters. And you're
Wait.
either like,
You're saying you can't play 23 hours a day for a month straight?
Impossible.
Are you sure about that?
I mean, like maybe we were wrong. Maybe they're just these superhuman players, man. And
I've
we were just
legitimately
jealous.
had people tell me that they were legit players and they were at like 20
We'll never
plus
know.
hours.
We'll never know.
For over a month. I'm like, dude, you can't live on 4 hours with
They could
sleep
have a child, and that
bills.
doesn't violate TOS.
Like, do you do have to use the bathroom and eat, right?
Right? Like maybe.
You have a little brother Chris,
Yeah, but that is a cool thing though. You can go check those top, check your ladder real quick. It's pretty, how many hours this guy got. That's cool.
Just try to stay on top of it, yeah.
I'm assuming that's what you did, was just hour check.
Yeah, most of it's going to mainly be like whatever public information you can glean from looking at someone's profile. Take the hours, elapsed in the season, and then like, is this realistic? And there were going to be people that, if you're you're streaming, exactly, like 12 hours, 16 hours a day. Like it could be borderline or whatever, and maybe they're even like trying to make it that way to like just skirt the edge.
Right.
In those cases, you're just like, all right, fine. Like, we're gonna be more lenient than restrictive.
Yeah.
But the clear cases, I mean, you can definitely call people on that, and if they don't have an answer for you, like, there's no reason to put that mark on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What do you think about a leaderboard filter for Diablo?
Let's say it again. A leaderboard what?
A leaderboard filter.
Oh, who was I just talking to? Oh, Bagstone again. Keep bringing him up, but he's like the ideas guy. He was talking about, and this has been, I think it's in general, has been a popular idea going back a few years now. The best thing that I think they could do, maybe this is the outlandish. We just keep coming with new like outlandish requests, maybe. But maybe this one would work. It would take so much restructuring of how I'm sure the leaderboards work internally or whatever. But imagine a world where the meta just doesn't matter, right? Like if you really love Uliana Monk, you can be the best Uliana Monk on the Uliana Monk leaderboard. And that's all you have to work towards. You don't have to play Wave of Light if you don't want to for the 18th season in a row. You don't have to, I don't know, like, or even better, like it just gives you multiple things to compete on. So you can try to like, I think about, I don't know how much wrestling you guys watch or anything, but like unifying all the belts or whatever, right? Like you can be like, I'm the top Crusader because I've got a Khan rank 1. I've got Roland rank 1.
Yeah.
Oh, someone just beat me on Secret of the Light. I got to get back in there. So it could be so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like you're a runner, so you're like, you know how, say you run a race or something like that, and at the end you get like statistics where it's like, okay, for your age group, like this is how you performed. And it'd be kind of like that as well, because you could be like, okay, hours played, I'm kind of like top 10 for my class, and that makes me feel pretty good. It doesn't really mean anything, but it still like gives that player like some
puts it in better
accomplishment.
perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
they even like it's kind of so funny if you play multiple Blizzard games, looking at how they treat the different IPs. But like in Hearthstone, after you play for a month, you get a summary email that says like, hey, you played 30 something games this season or this month. You were in the top 1 percentile based on the rank that you got to. You got beat by like this deck the most or something. Like it actually gives you a bit of reflection on like, oh, so this is how my actual month in the ladder went. And it could, either propel you to keep playing and like try to improve that email the next time you get it, or just give you some satisfaction. Like, yeah, this is the one where I really killed it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the 10-year-old plus engine that we're running on is showing its face too. It's like how many stats can they pull from the game? I mean, you got to think it dropped in 12, so they probably started 5 years before that. I mean, it could be even 2000, 2009, 2008. Who knows how old this engine is?
Yeah,
right. Working off old tech.
To me, like the leaderboard filter in particular, it's like all the data is already there.
It's on the website though, like so
you go to profile. The profile is not attached to it's pulling from their database. So it's like it's already there. Just add some more columns, add some drop downs and stuff.
And there have even been like, all these random tracker sites pop up every now and again, like Diablo Progress and stuff. Like they try to utilize the API And maybe to a little bit of P-Child's point, like sometimes it pulls like wonky results or it doesn't capture everybody. So maybe it doesn't quite play as well as we'd like it to.
Man.
But I remember, oh man, I think it was like Diablo3ladders.com or something.
Yeah.
Tried to do the filters by sets and stuff. And it was, to varying degrees of success. But oh,
yeah,
man,
I remember using Diablo ladders to try to check my Paragon ranking early in the couple seasons, and like I wouldn't even be on the board, but I was ahead of like people that they had on the list and stuff. And I'm like, well, it's not even pulling me. Like, what am I doing? So
I think that's a big avenue.
That turned me off from using them.
That Diablo misses out on. It's like they don't really have that site anymore. Like PoE, you can still go to like PoE Ninja and you can be like, I have the highest DPS for this build. Like Diablo doesn't really have that like to a great ability. It should be like you can like put on gear and stack your damage, and there's like legacy items that you could still use to like make that crazy. But like they need a way of like, okay, you cleared a GR 100. Has your DPS rank amongst all the people that cleared a GR 100. Like that would be sick.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Actually, let me ask you guys too. I've turned the question on you real quick. Do you guys think that because I don't know if you remember, like there was this time where like the botting was so rampant that there were like petitions and websites and like people were really trying to get Blizzard to do something about it. So do you think that this war on like the third party stuff like Turbohead, botting, etc., maybe prevented some of this too? Because when I think about PoE as a direct kind of thing to look at and compare by, you have so many cool things like the PoE trade macro or PoE racing to track players when they're racing, from like the Act 5 Katava kills or whatever. So there's all these different resources that the community itself has built, and it seems like they're encouraged more than they're discouraged. But in D3 land, a lot of things are just like, don't do that.
Right.
Do you think that hurt that?
I don't know if it hurt it.
Why are we talking about botting, or are we talking about like some of the other stuff?
No. Just like the idea of making maybe like a more robust database, or like trying to utilize, and maybe it was more the limitation of the API or something, but just the idea of like building up these things around D3 to make it that you could get something like a DPS score or a gear score or something.
Yeah.
I wonder how supportive Blizzard was to those guys. Those guys that have the skill sets to build those things. Did they reach out and say, hey, man, it would be awesome if we could do this. Can you API give me this data? Can you open it up to get me this data?
I could see Blizz just being like, this is the API. This is the data you get.
Yeah. So I kind of wonder if they weren't super receptive either, because like to me, it always feels like Blizzard has this sense of like, I'm the best. Like I'm a celebrity. Like I'm Leonardo DiCaprio, right? And then you got like Path of Exile comes in, and it's like, it's like Jonah Hill, and it's like it's happy that you like want to kick it. Like, Jonah, can I get your picture? And Jonah's like, fuck yeah, you can get my picture. What's up? Yep. That's kind of how I feel. And Blizzard's like Leo. It's like, dude, no, not right now, man. Not right now. But that's from me on the outside kind of looking in. They're just always like top tier A-list. We don't need these sites. Sure. Blizzard.
It always kind of seems like Blizzard's like, well, we kind of know better than you guys, like all the time. So.
And that's been an ongoing war, because it feels like it'll crescendo and then it'll kind of like pull back. Where if you think back to the original D3 days, so many decisions were made sort of like in a vacuum of just them developing, being like, we know what's good for players. Yeah. And it really wasn't until they started to take a lot more community feedback, till players actually got to log in and play and realize your legendary items aren't legendary. Like, these suck. You have to like make them actually be cool if they're not going to drop at all. And then suddenly they started to make all those changes. Paragon came in, which, I mean, that one ramped up quickly to be problematic. But just these other things that the community helped to influence, at least when they started listening to us. Yeah,
I don't think Diablo went the direction they intended at all. I think the game was supposed to be supported by the real money auction house. And then once it became like that was their microtransaction scheme for like years. And I think it had such a negative impact on the game and the population and the community that they had to scrap it. And then they had no funding. And it was just like, okay, well, our funding for this game is now gone. So, Skeleton Crew, you guys do what you want to do. We're canceling the second expansion and blah, blah, blah.
Definitely changed the future, the shape of it. Yeah, I agree with that. Sure.
I feel like they pull back to like the COE a lot too. Like the COE is like a community driven item. And now like everyone complains about it, and they're kind of like, oh, see, like that's what you get when you make your own item.
Thought it was cool at the time.
Yeah. So I don't know. I would love to see it because like that barb, that barb thing that we talked about like a few weeks ago, where these people made this like crazy in depth, like, hey, this is exactly what you need to change. Like that's just free. That's free development work. Just take a dev and have him do it. Like that's crazy. But they would never do that. Anyways,
yeah, I got a question for you, Leviathan.
What's up?
Fluff and I have talked about this a little bit.
What are you doing?
What do you think's going to happen at BlizzCon? Like what? I want predictions, man. I'm putting you on the spot. I got to know.
Well, first of all, are you going to be there?
I was going to say more clip fodder.
Are you going BlizzCon?
97%.
97. Okay, that's
so I'm leaving that 3% because like I'm not 100% sure of like funds and stuff. This is like number crunch.
So expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, especially coming from like coast to coast. Like plane already is tough, and then hotels depending on how long you want to stay.
Yeah.
But I really, really want to go because I do feel like, and this will answer your question, I feel like this got to be Diablo's year. Like you were just talking about earlier with the whole like Diablo Immortal. Do they mention it? Do they not? I think they are going to. And when I go down, that line of thinking, then I feel like you cannot ever talk about Diablo Immortal again unless it's paired up with something major for the franchise. And I think like Immortal has to be done or like near completion or ready to be released. So it has to get talked about this year. And then that means that like if it is just a trailer or just a splash screen of like a D4 logo or something, like we have to get better confirmation besides like just having this inkling of an idea that it's coming.
Right. I mean, we even got to play it a year ago, and we got nothing since
crazy,
then. It blows my mind that they haven't even talked. I mean, the backlash was so bad. I guess it shouldn't, but
right.
I mean, the product we played felt pretty close to completion already.
Right. It was smooth. It had gameplay in there. Like they just add more zones of that stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
Put whatever else they're going to put on top of it in terms of systems. But like, the core of that experience was there.
Yeah.
It's just, it's so weird. Like not even ad campaign marketing, but it does, like you said, it makes me wonder if they just don't even want to broach it. Like if they feel like they can't get the community sentiment back, then it's like, why even open yourself up to more of that, derision and vitriol and stuff? Instead, just be real quiet about it. And then when it's out, it's out. But yeah, I still think it has to be D4, and it has to. I hate like saying it has to, because then I'm like getting my anticipation up, and I'm starting like getting expectations. But if not now, when?
I thought that last year. Like, did you think D4 last year?
I did.
Everybody did.
I was so sold last year. Like I was like betting the house. I'm like, oh, we're getting D4. We're getting D4.
Yeah.
I'm stoked.
So, I agree. If we don't get it this year, it's like.
Do you think Diablo 4 is enough so that say they came out and said, hey, D4, and there's maybe even like a CG scene, right? Classic Diablo. Right after that, Diablo Immortal is announced. Like more stuff about Diablo Immortal comes out. Do you think that would be enough to stop Boo?
No.
I think you actually reverse the order. I don't think you end with Immortal, because then that's like the last.
You can't start with Immortal. Oh my! If they start with Immortal, that just.
I don't know. You can't. You can't even talk about it. No. Like you can't though. What are you gonna do? Start with D3 sets.
That's what I was gonna maybe sandwich it.
Go to Immortal,
real quick,
really quick. But I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't. I would. I don't know. I don't. You have a side panel on the second day that talks about it.
I was gonna say maybe it doesn't make the main stage, right? Because that's what everyone's watching. Because that's free as well.
Okay,
everyone can tune into.
New scenario. Okay, so Diablo 3. They're like, hey, here's what we're doing with Diablo 3, and they come out. They say, here are the new sets: Pog, Druid, Pog, and guess what? Fade to black. Diablo 4, and they actually have a CGI scene. And then nonchalantly, they're like, and Diablo Immortal just went live. Do you think that would cause a boo? Or do you think that would be okay?
I think that actually might work, because everyone should be still so like hyped and like, trying to make the best tweet or whatever. They're too preoccupied to like, wait, what was the last thing? Whatever. We still just got it. Like, where do I find the CGI again?
Wyatt's walking off stage. He's turned around, but his mic's still on. He's like, yelling where his left. He's like yelling where his left.
Just like right into his shirt.
He just like throws his phone over his shoulder.
Oh my god.
Oh,
that's how you do it.
Yeah. We're not getting to Druid, man.
I don't think so either. I don't think new classes are coming.
Do you remember when
Leviathan used to make? Go ahead.
Yeah. Wasn't that you, Leviathan?
Yeah, Leviathan used to make like videos of like, yo, we saw this little piece of lore.
I thought, man, I was ready to hype it up and hop on the train. The Druid's coming. Mm-hmm. It seemed like there was evidence. I have to believe that.
Yeah,
I think it was maybe a thing in the same way that you guys were saying that, once the RMAH kind of gutted their monetization model, I don't know if it just didn't get far enough that they can't give it to us the way it is, but I have to think like there's maybe some files somewhere like Druid X2 or something, expansion 2 that it was going to come. Because think about it this way, right? If you're going to make 7 new sets, that to me spells that there's no other like major thing coming, because those could be sets that would go towards a new class.
Right. I agree. I'm with you. But if the sets are actually like real sets, they're going to do something. They're new things we've never seen in the game. That means you have somebody on staff skilled enough to code new things into the game, not just add a 0 here and take a damage modifier there. But this guy can actually code new things in the game. That guy could maybe finish Druid.
That could be the guy.
Team. I'm turning a little toxic for a second. We act like sets are these crazy innovative things, and they're just not. They're 2-piece do something weird, 4-piece mitigation, 6-piece damage modifier. Like, that's not that crazy. So are we blown away by this guy that can add one more set? I don't know.
No, but I think Leviathan's probably close. They probably started working on Druid at some point. They probably already have a character model complete somewhere. For sure. Somebody's got one, or at least concepts, I would hope. And it's like, put it in the game, man. Just turn it on.
I guess it just depends how far they got
along.
Being able to bring it, Because art is expensive, animation's expensive. I don't know.
Well, you heard it, Blizzard. That's all you need to do. If you don't want to get a booed at BlizzCon, just give us Druid, new sets, Diablo 4.
Announce Immortal as you're walking.
We're simple people. Just give us like everything we've ever wanted, and we're fine.
It's good.
Oh man,
easy clap.
Oh
man. Is that the D3 news? Do we got more?
I wanted to ask one more question. So, assuming that Diablo 3 keeps this like current cadence where we get season 18 level content, how many more seasons do you think it could survive?
Kind of, it depends on this guy, right? If we're talking about this metaphorical guy,
this guy
can do the stuff.
The guy.
How innovative can the guy be, right? Because let's boil, like, say you're the most pessimistic person, right? And you boil down the currently coming seasonal theme, it's basically Oculus, amplified, right?
Sure.
And to some degree, you could look at that and say, oh man, that's not really that cool. Like, I want something super duper unique. The other perspective to that is this is maybe the first step in the direction of now not just copy pasting a legendary power. Like, hey, here's your free COE next season. Here's your free Endless Walk, which I think a lot of people thought season 18 would just be here's Endless Walk.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because it kind of made sense as a counterpoint to free lawn. But if this is the road that they're going to take, and now they're hopefully getting good reception on this and it works out all right, maybe it's the beginning of them doing a bit more innovation in terms of the seasonal themes. But I hadn't really thought about it maybe until you just asked the question. There could be a time where they stop making new ones and recycle the same way that we're getting the recycle of the seasonal cosmetics. I think the idea for D3's future, especially once D4 is out, is for them to not have to touch it at all, right? To automate it completely so that, season 69 rolls out and it's, whatever was happening in season 33 and the conquest from season 15, the Hadrigs from season 11, it just all is just mathed out for them eternally. So, they don't really have to touch it.
True.
I would expect 100% when D4 launches that D3 is shelved. completely. It's gonna get like a maintenance patch. Boom.
But like
I think it
servers
will.
still existing though, right? Like you can still play.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Servers are still up, but it's like 100% maintenance mode. Patch bug. They'll do like one final balance patch, maybe, and then it's like boom, it's shelved and it's just maintenance at that point. That's what I expect. Am I wrong? I mean, if you think about other big games that have done this, like when Destiny 1 went to Destiny 2, they shelved it. Division, they shelved it. Like every other major game I've played that's gone through these 1, 2, 3, 4 sequences, they just kind of shelf the original game. You know, here's your final patch. So.
I think we even have like a closer to home example. If you look at what's happening with D2, you have sort of, I guess you could call those like maintenance patches where, you know, every now and again they try and fight the bots a little bit. It doesn't work. They maybe spruce it up a little to bring it more into modern computer systems, or like make it at least easier for people to finagle it to play. But yeah, there hasn't been, I don't think, as far as I can tell, new items or new features or anything, you know, rising to content to D2 in years. So you could definitely see it going that road just from pure past example close to home.
Do you think that's a product of monetization?
Because there was no way to support further D2, and same now for D3.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We are moving.
Probably
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was going to say we're moving towards more of these games as services, if you will, like these sort of like, I want to play this for my life. You know, when I log in, I want you to be continuing to give me new surprises, like think of like WoW and the crazy long run it's been on.
Yeah.
Just unseated as the top MMO. And they have to continue to keep coming up with another raid, another expansion, on and on. But that's fed off of what subscription models, right? And people buying like all these crazy pets and all the different ways they monetize it. So if a D4 has something robust like that, then I could see it. Even when, or actually, let me ask you this though, because at some point people thought like WoW 2 would come out or something like that. If you can imagine a world where that's the case, do you actually think like people would keep their original WoW subscriptions and they would keep updating WoW, or it would kind of be the same shelving of it?
Depends if the sequel's good. If the sequel's like, if D4 comes out and it's just amazing, why would we play D3? You know,
True.
If we want to play new content in D3, that means D4 is flopped.
That's a strange comparison, though, because we're talking about like World of Warcraft. It's gotten like expansion after expansion. The layers of content that are there versus Diablo 3 is like insane. So it's like
WoW
it's
has
hard
that subscription model, though. You're paying $15 a month to play it.
But I think if they had WoW 2, I think people would still play WoW.
If WoW 2 was good, I don't know. Like, I'm sure a couple, sure.
If you like EverQuest 2, EverQuest 1, people still play EverQuest 1.
Was 2 really
like
good?
Old RuneScape. Old school RuneScape. Can you, because I'm like, full disclosure, I barely have played WoW, like maybe 40 hours.
My man.
Let's go. Would you, it's not exactly like a sequel, right, or a prequel, but can you look at classic WoW as almost sort of the same scenario where there are a lot of people hyped to go back to the beginning of like when WoW first started, right, to recapture that nostalgia? Is it kind of the same?
I think a lot of people feel like the development of WoW made bad choices. The developers made bad choices. And they feel like WoW was the core philosophies and design of WoW was so good that people like that. I think it's a lot of nostalgia that people are they remember it because it was like this new thing, man. Like, you know, all my buddies played it and it's this new thing and they're going to go back to it and it's going to be the same that it was. But it's not, though. The world's not the same as it was in 2004. Like, we have Twitch and we have YouTube and we have all these things that didn't really exist back then. People are so much smarter and communication's better and they're going to figure out how to play better. And I don't know. It's going to be weird, man. And we're all old now, too. Like, when WoW came out, I was in college. I was in high school. You know what I mean? Like, I was in college, actually. So I got to play 40 hours a week. I literally played 40 plus hours a week every week for the entire vanilla, like every week.
Damn.
And like now, dude, there's no way, you know? So
did you have
I could grind
kids
MC 6 days
when WoW came out originally?
No, I didn't. So
that's crazy.
So I mean,
I was like, you're the demographic.
I was single. I was a single bachelor living in my own place. Like, met my wife when BC dropped, which is the first expansion, and I hid WoW from her from the first 3 months we dated.
Oh, no way.
I was a closet WoW player for 3 months. Like my raid team, like we raided Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, like all freaking night. We started at 6 p.m. and I raided till midnight. It was like 6-hour raid days, 3 days a week. I always had excuses. Like I told her I had to work really late on those nights, so she like wouldn't want to hang out and do stuff. I mean, it was like this whole thing. So then she came over one Saturday, and I'm like, oh, she's chilling. She stayed the night, whatever. And I'm like, I'm gonna play this game. You ever heard of World of Warcraft? And she's like, oh, maybe. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna play for a little bit. And like 3 or 4 hours later, she's like, what are you doing? And so then I just broke it. I'm like, oh, I'm addicted. This is
the beginning.
Yeah. So, yeah, it caused problems a lot when we first started dating. A lot. Yep. I mean, you never hid your EverQuest fluff from your lady friends?
I've always been like a super open guy. Like if the person I'm with is just not cool with gaming, then like that's fine, but we just don't need to like really be together. You know what I mean?
In 2004, WoW was pretty nerdy. I mean, it probably still is today.
Yeah.
But when you meet you meet somebody, you're like, hey, I play WoW.
Sure.
What's up? How are you doing? You're like,
yeah, because there's that stigma. Like everybody thinks like, oh, you sit in a basement and like,
you could say you play Call of Duty. Like that was okay. That's a cool game, but not WoW.
Yeah.
Like
That's manly.
WoW is like, oh, so you're a LARPer? Like that's like the next question that comes. Like it's instantly like,
So WoW's on the same field as like Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing.
Basically,
I think it's close. Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, that's the thing with like orcs and magic and stuff. Like,
I mean, in that South Park episode came out, it didn't help anything.
that
episode was fantastic.
It was so good.
So funny.
So good.
But classic PoE coming out with a big, fat, juicy patch today. I don't know if some of you guys saw this, but PoE is coming out with Blight in 2 weeks.
Big Blight.
It looks good, man. It looks real good. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. So basically, the new endgame system is there's this basically it's like an abyss. So you like touch it, and then it starts to like spread, and then you basically build up these towers because there's monsters that are gonna spawn from are gonna be like stronger than normal monsters, which is actually great because like you hit the point in PoE where you just like absolutely one shot everything. So the idea of like making monsters like way tougher, I think, is actually really cool. And then so you build these tower defense kind of thing. A lot of people are memeing about it already, but it seems all right. But the coolest thing is they've kind of added like this cube, if you will, so you can get like a passive from anywhere in the tree from like these new items that drop, which is really interesting.
What?
Yeah, so you can get like a keystone from like across the passive tree just by like RNG luck, which is
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like mind over matter and stuff like that, like CI.
Mm-hmm.
That's wow.
Yeah,
wow,
it's insane.
It's powerful.
Yeah. And then they're actually coming out with a set, which is really weird. So they get this like,
oh no,
antiquitable uniques, and you get all of them, and they all come with like, so that necklace you can unlock a passive on this set. You can do that on every piece that you can get. So you'd have like essentially 5 passives that you could allocate without ever being attached to them, which is pretty insane. Also, you're getting the ability to manage your master missions. So instead of losing them like every day, they just like stockpile. And so if you're like, I can't play for 10 days, like you come back and you got like 10 delve dailies like waiting for you, which is pretty insane. Yeah. And it sounds like they're making it like some of the biggest problems, like if you want to delve deep, like you have to delve in a group and get the mats that you need, et cetera, et cetera. And it sounds like they're making it a lot more accessible, which is, I think, fantastic. Class reworks, they're making the Necromancer better. And this is really weird because, like, I would get people that come my stream and like, hey, what's the one thing you would really want from the next patch in PoE? And it was 100%, I want more melee skills that would do toxic, like, chaos damage. And they're adding like 4. So it's like, Jesus.
Somebody was listening.
I know. They watched my stream. And But yeah,
Face of PoE, dude.
It's insane the amount of, you know, I don't want to take anything away from upcoming Diablo season because I am super hyped for that. But I mean, PoE GGG constantly just shows us like what a game studio is capable of. It's just pretty insane.
Yeah, and this is, I always like, you know, I try to be a pretty positive and like hopeful dude.
Yeah.
And I think when I look at what's happening with PoE and GGG, I'm like, this is actually insane, but hopefully this is what the future could be for like
100%.
D4 with actual monetization, right? Because I think that's how GG can do this, is that the supporter packs keep them in business. People love to give money to them because they get really good content out of it like this. So it's that reinforcement loop.
Yeah.
I think it's all monetization thing. And I 100% think that D4 is going the direction that every game seems to be going now. It's going to be pay to cosmetic. I really feel like D4 will have super strong item shop, you know, level stuff.
They gotta do it.
ARPGs just fit that mold so well. It's like, here, we'll give you all this power and we'll sell you the skins. And it's, you know, PoE showing it works.
Right.
I don't know, man. I just don't think that D4 can live on that retail box $60 price tag. And like, okay, here you go, $60. It's your game forever until we drop an expansion. I think that's not the future. So
you've played some PoE Leviathan. What are some of the elements from Path of Exile that you'd love to see in Diablo 4?
I think the biggest thing that PoE gets right is that player choice matters a lot. That was one of the first things that kind of like both intimidated me and impressed me when I first played, was that I almost felt scared to make decisions because I'm like, oh my God, like if I pick the wrong passive on this tree or if I go the wrong way, like I just screwed up my whole character.
Yeah,
and it wasn't as like terrifying as I originally thought it would be, and obviously carrying forward, like I played nothing but solo on PoE, and you end up with like enough orbs of regret to undo mistakes. There's like ThaPChild was saying before, like now we live in the world of the internet. You can go find guides, you can go find help. Like you were talking about, you can go to PoE Ninja and you can even look at another Inquisitor's Stormbrand and see like, oh, they picked that keystone. That probably like means they have way more DPS and their build works a lot better than mine. So I think as long as you, and maybe that's kind of the thing, I'm kind of talking in circles a little bit, but I think having choices, or at least feeling like you have choices, you have direction and control, brings back a bigger part of the RPG aspect, like you're building your character, which might not work for some more casual players because they only want to maybe make one character and not make mistakes and feel like they have to start over or whatever. But at the same time, there is guidance if you really, really want it. So some sort of combination of just giving the player more choice. Because I think, and I'll finish here, is just when you look at sets, you kind of hit the nail on the head that like they don't do anything. What's the kind way to say it? Like anything like incredible in terms of like really change the way that you do stuff, but they do direct you on how to make your build.
Yeah.
So in a way, you can only put 4 skills on your bar that make sense for any one set.
Sure. Yeah. What is there any element from Diablo 3 that you'd like to see come forward in Diablo 4?
I guess I just hope that they're like, my biggest dream for Diablo would always be that there could be an esport somehow.
Yes.
I love esports. Like I watched, and that was actually after Crip getting me on the Twitch and watching that, the next thing I watched was StarCraft 2 esports. I watched NASL, I watched IPL, I watched all the IEMs. Like I was obsessed, dude. I was like, people play this for money. It's like super crazy competition. Like coming from the running world, I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see, PoE does racing, which I think is a cool way to make an ARPG have an esports scene, but I think you can go further. I don't know if it needs to be PvP per se, but even stuff like, I don't know, you look at, what are those things called? The mythic dungeon keys, like the system that they have in WoW. I always felt like that was like Greater Rifts Evolved, essentially.
Yeah,
and they have the MDI for that. Like imagine something even taking a step further like that for D4. Oh man, it could be sick.
They did races at BlizzCon with that and stuff too. Like, so there is definitely competition in the PvE environment that they could.
Did you see that? So the China did this thing where like it was like 2v2 and you slash what other team could play, their classes or whatever. And then they did like a 24-hour stint, and whoever was the highest Paragon or whoever had the highest GR clear at the end of that 24-hour stint, like one.
Oh, I remember seeing. I think there was like a Reddit post about that or something,
Yeah.
right?
Sick. Imagine if
That's a really cool idea. It was for money too, right?
Yeah. Imagine if they did like a Twitch Rivals, like Diablo style for that. That'd be just insane.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah,
It'd be fun.
that'd be super.
That's what I want. Like more competitive things.
Yeah.
Like I think the leaderboards were a good step in the right direction, and just more stuff like that.
Yeah.
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 100%.
Yeah.
I
Twitter
think
questions?
that's it. I think it's time for Twitter questions.
Do it.
You guys want to head into it?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm down.
All right. So if you guys don't know what this section is, every episode of the podcast, we answer Twitter questions that you guys can submit to us on our Twitters or in our Discords. The links are in the video below if you're watching on YouTube. If you're in Discord, somebody could spam those for us. Or in Stream Now, you could spam those. But the first question comes from SVR. And he says, a question for
Ignore
all.
it. Skip
if you
it.
could delete one class, which one would it be? This is totally directed at you, Fluff.
What class does SVR play? Let's pick that one.
He's been playing a lot of Wiz lately.
He loves that wizard.
There is only one right answer.
I would kill witch doctors. I'm sorry, dude. I don't play them anyway, so.
Yep,
Feels
100%.
bad, man.
Playing
I'm
a
sorry,
witch
all you
doctor
witch doctor fans, don't hate me.
after Necro came out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's so
Dude,
funny.
the going back to dumb pets is actually really dumb. You're like, wait, I can't tell them where to go or how to attack, but it's a feature of the witch doctor. They have zombies. Zombies, you can't direct zombies on what to do.
Nintendo.
Wow. Yeah, that's.
Who are you gonna
I guess
kill?
I can't disagree. Okay, so maybe prior to season 17, I would have said necromancer, or sorry, I would have said wizard 100%.
Okay, we're cool.
This has been my least played, least favorite class. And the only reason that the Necro doesn't have more hours is just because it came out later.
Mm-hmm.
But I played Thorn's Necro for my GR 110 that I was trying to do. Hated every second of it.
Yep.
I did Lawn Skeletal Mage to try to get to GR 110. Died on it.
Yep.
I was like, this class is made of paper. This is so stupid. So I would love to delete it. Plus, maybe like next season we'll be on Veer Wizard speeds anyway, so it won't matter. But if you get rid of the Necro, just think of the open space in the meta, man. Just think of all the. I mean, we'd probably delete Fluff's YouTube account at that point too. But
That's a
Delete me.
pretty compelling
they could do
argument.
that. They want me out of this game anyway. So, I mean, the surefire way to get me out is deleting Necro. 100%.
Just no more
I'd be
Necro.
out. I would be
It goes
out.
all your
They're
expertise.
issuing refunds for everybody that bought the expansion pack.
Toxic.
I'm sorry,
way.
everyone. I'm sorry, everyone.
Gosh. Okay, so Leviathan picked delete Fluff's YouTube account. That must have been the correct answer.
Yes.
All right, Fluff, who are you?
Witch Doctor.
Who are you getting
100%.
rid
Like
of?
they were absorbed by Necro. So
Yeah, Witch Doctor's got to be it. Eddie asked, does your hype for the seasons and gear change get less and less when you know the end game content is still only Nephilim rifts or greater rifts? I have to say yes, personally. Like, we've been doing the same end game since Reaper of Souls came out.
I mean, I say that, but like Necromancer came out, and man, did that reinvigorate this game for me. Like, I was playing probably more than I ever have when Necro.
Do you think
came
a new class would redo that again, though? That's the
I
thing.
don't know, but Necro was like that. It hit every cylinder for me. Like, it's the it's kind of evil class. It's like that classic thing that I played in Diablo 2, and it's like it was perfect. But I don't know if
They
Druid
could
would
definitely
really do that.
do things to make it more fun,
Right.
but I guess the question says, does the hype go down season after season? And I have to say, yeah, man. I think if I look back at historically my playtime curve, just over the last 3 years, it's like every season it's a little bit less, unless something major happened. Season 12 and 13 outliers to me. 11, I guess.
What about you?
It's such a tough one because I think my answer is both yes and no at the same time. And you might be like, how can you even say yes when you just played like 600 hours of friggin' season 17? But I think for me, if I can come up with good goals, that does a lot for me. So, and those are almost external to the game if you want to think about it that way. Because like, it's not the game really saying like, here's a different kind of approach to your season or seasonal journey, or like, they were changing up classes, like almost adding more restrictions. Like, first was like, I like hardcore because I have to try to not die. Then I added like, I like solo because it slows the game down a little bit more and gear might matter a bit more. Then you put those together and now there's like really restricted gameplay. You just keep coming up with all these like random nuances of how to play the same game.
Right.
But I will say that I definitely am always hyped for at least the opening weekend and maybe that first week. Because I think to me, that's when the community itself is usually the most hype. There's a lot of like chatter about it. And I love seeing people talking about the game and like sharing items and stuff. That's probably some of the things I get the most enjoyment out of. But also the idea of like that fresh start. Everyone's there at the same time at level 1. And, it doesn't last very long anymore. But right when you get to 70, kind of like piecemealing your way through to the Hadrigs and stuff and like using, I don't freaking know, spike traps for like 2 levels before you finally unlock your full set. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like the most random stuff you never ever do. And as soon as you get to grinding Paragon, it sucks that we figured the game out way too much at this point that you can get there in like 6 hours from opening the season. And it's like, this is my life for the next 3 months. It's definitely easy to check out.
The dopamine drip of those power increases that first weekend are just it's so satisfying. This game encapsulates that better than any other game I've ever played. Like that initial reset. And when they first announced seasons to me as not really playing ladders and D2 or any of that stuff, I thought it was the stupidest concept I've ever heard in my life. I'm like, wait a minute. You're telling me you're resetting my character's progress every 3 months? Why would I ever do that? And the only reason I even tried it in the first place was because of the seasonal rewards. Like, the new legendaries were behind seasonal wall, and you had those cosmetics. I'm like, I gotta get the cosmetics. They're gonna only be available this one time ever, which didn't happen really like that. But
about that.
yeah, and like all this stuff. So I played it, and then I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is so cool. The first opening night, I was like, I love this. This is great.
Yeah, some of my fondest memories are from just like initially putting like ragtag groups together and just like trying to stay up for as long as possible. People like falling asleep at their keyboards or like dying off. And it's like, well, at least you kind of made it to level 70. We'll check in with you tomorrow when you can get a power level or something.
Did you guys have that one friend that always like had to like mess with their build after every rift?
Oh my god!
I had this one friend. And he knows if he's watching. I'm talking about you. You know it. He would sit there and he's like, hold on. I got a new build. I got to build. After every rift, it'd be like 2 or 3 minutes, 5 minutes. And we eventually, like, it's a meme in my circle of friends. Like, if somebody's taking long, we just say his name. And instantly, like, oh, I'm sorry, dudes. Hold on, I'm coming.
I'm that guy.
My bad.
That's funny.
What drives me nuts is like the guys that, unless it's like a build, they have no idea what they're doing. Right? Like, unless they're like following some exact build out there, like until they have that whole thing put together, like they're just worthless in your group like for leveling. And that drives me just crazy. Like, you can have some idea of how to play the game outside of sets. Please, if we're going to level.
It's the curse of the internet, man.
I know.
How many people come into your guys' streams and like, what is the best class this season? Okay. What's the best build this season?
Yeah.
Where can I get a guide? And that's it. Right. They don't want to look any further.
Yeah.
Everything. Just play what you want. They're all good.
That's it.
Have fun, man. The next question comes from Connor. Connor says, will more people be pushing UE this season thanks to the captain set?
Ooh, nice. Demon Hunter question. So I had a guy in my chat earlier today who said he didn't yet have good amulets. And I think he was playing with squirts, actually. But he had done a 119 multi-shot in like 1230. I didn't verify it, but if that's the case, that's really good. Depending on his Paragon level and like how much inflation he's got from like crazy gear or something, because that means it has room to grow. And right now, top of Demon Hunter, like you really, if you're like class of the class, you need to be doing a 130 with your setup, because looks like Nat's Rapid Fire is going to be there. It looks like Lawn Rapid Fire will maybe be there, and N6M4 has the capability. So I think UE, it's weird because a lot of the other Demon Hunter sets got buffed far more than UE did. I forget if it was like 1 or 2 patches ago, so it left it in the dust. Although it's still like by far the best speed farmer for like regular rifts, bounties, etc. I just think you'll still have better options, and it depends on your goals, on if you're trying to push for like top 10 or if you just want to use UE because you love UE that much. It's better than it's ever been with Captain Crimson. I don't think it's still quite an S tier for Demon Hunter.
What do you think about Lon Rapid Fire?
You know that resident sleeper emote people like to put in chat?
Yeah.
That is me.
Why did it have to be grenades? Of all the
always grenades, man.
Always, dude.
Strafe grenades. It's always something stupid with grenades.
It's because of the Hellcat waist guard.
I know.
What was like your favorite Demon Hunter build of all time?
Before like sets and all that stuff, Chakram, like just the being able to throw out these like twin ninja stars just seems so cool to me. And it was a skill that I'm glad survives now and literally just 1 to 70. But after that, you never look back and you never touch it again. That's why I'm actually hoping, like with them saying they're going to do a new set for each class, I actually hope it gets that support. That'd be sick.
That's what we should have asked. Like if you can make a set around every class, one skill, right? What would you pick for each class?
Oh, I got you. You ready?
Shit. Yeah.
I was thinking about this for the last couple of days. Barb Frenzy, because this is a classic skill, and I know like single target is like super boring. So if you find a way to give it AOE, maybe the set does that. It'd be amazing. Crusader, Fist of the Heavens. I don't think the like half. No, I don't think 90% of the community even knows what Fist of the Heavens
100%.
looks like.
100%.
Right.
Because they haven't used it. It's such a sick skill.
It is sick. Yeah. 100%.
So I would support that one. Demon Hunter, Chakram for sure.
Okay.
Maybe traps, because they've always tried to make traps a thing and they're not.
Yeah.
So maybe your Chakram activates your traps when you put them down or something. Bring back a little bit of assassin flair. What's next? Monk. Monk's tough because they actually have a lot of coverage with all their skills.
I think they need another wave of light set, personally.
Oh my god.
Yes. Double wave of lights.
You might as well, right? You know?
How to trigger every monk in 3 words. More wave.
More wave of light.
More wave of light. Maybe Tempest Rush though. I think that was
exactly. That's like the only thing that's left.
They gotta go to.
It's like they actually utilize most of their skills, which is pretty weird for Diablo 3. So
surprising.
Yeah.
Let's see. So then Necro. So Necro's weird because I feel like they still have a lot of room to cover. Oh boy. Is there only one right answer here?
No,
you know what? I think Revive, man. Like, you remember them talking up that skill and being like, this cost us so much money to make and be able to make all these characters come back to life, and no one uses it. No one uses it at all. So maybe like some corpse-based set where you get to utilize Corpse Explosion more, you get to utilize Revive more. Maybe something that's purely pets, like not just Rathmas, but like it encourages you to actually use Army of the Dead, actually use Revive.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Witch
Doctor, besides deleting it, it needs a speed build, man. Like it's so slow.
100%.
And I think that's a reason why it gets ignored. Like it hasn't been in speeds anymore because not speeds push, because Firebat's got its spot taken. And even when Spirit Barrage Lawn was really like starting to take off, it was so cool. Then Wizards took over again. So
the set makes Firebats work like cast while moving. There you go.
Oh,
a whirlwind.
Yeah,
a whirlwind of Firebats. Oh,
whirlwind
snap.
Firebats.
I actually like that a lot. Oh, there you go. Print that.
It's
and Wizard play Witch Doctor. There you go, Blizz.
To turn it into a whirlwind set.
Beautiful. And then for Wizard, I think you got to bring back the original Wizard playstyle, which someone's gonna be like, "Oh, Critical Mass, you gonna do it?" No, I promise you, you're not gonna break your hand again. Blizzard with Hydra. You remember like kiting everything around for 8 years? Yeah. This would be way more powerful. Like you get all the Hydras, like using Blizzard like amplifies their damage or something. Like I don't know, man. Crazy Hydra. Like imagine you get all the Hydras, right? And then you have Serpent Sparker, which doubles it. Yeah. So now it's like almost similar to Inna's, where you can get all the Mystic Allies or whatever. But now you just got crazy Hydras popping out of the ground.
Yeah. I don't know. Good answers.
Could be cool.
Be cool. Be down. Let's see, where did we leave off? If Gettert asked, do you think we would have seen more changes if Classic WoW wasn't releasing 3 days later? I don't know, personally.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think Classic WoW influenced this at all. I predicted the release date because I'm like, there's no way they're going to drop it after. So I was saying it was going to be the 23rd for a couple months now, I think.
Sure.
But
yeah, from that
and I think
perspective, that's a good
why.
call.
Yeah, I do too. If they would have dropped this season on the 30th, the next Friday?
Yeah.
If they would have dropped on the 30th, man, that would have been rough. That's the choice at that point. I'm like, am I going to play Diablo or Classic WoW tonight? You know?
And it's that thing where like you've already gotten the ball rolling on Classic WoW, so like
yeah,
you're not gonna just this almost brings us full circle, but like you don't want to disrupt that flow, right? So you're gonna keep going with the Classic WoW.
Yeah, and it depends on how much, and if they pushed it back and even another week after that, then it's like at that point it's like, well, you're going to have 4 weeks of off season because they already announced the season end date, so it's like you're going to have this huge lull of no season.
Yeah,
They should have.
super anti-hype last time.
They should have come out with it last Friday, to be honest, this season. But
I think so too. That'd have been great.
Whoops.
2 weeks.
yeah,
But
Oh,
that's
well.
what it is. Dreadscythe says at Leviathan, what do you feel was your biggest comeback from a death in hardcore?
Ooh, biggest comeback. That's a great question. Usually the way that deaths work for me in hardcore is they occur if everything goes right on the like second to last day of the season, because then there's nothing else left to do. Like I was probably trying to push and just got wrecked. I would say the season of Lawn LTK, which I think was season 9. It was my really first time like getting back to Monk because that was my second most played class in vanilla. And LTK is one of those skills for me that I love. Maybe that's an answer for a skill to support, but it kind of fits into all the other ones anyways, with some Wuko and stuff. I love that build, but man, I died like 6 times. I'll actually never forget like some of the deaths. I died on the night of the Super Bowl one time to a shock tower. Like for whatever reason, that's just stuck in my head forever. It's like Tom Brady won another stupid championship.
and I died.
Oh god, it's just like salt in the wound, dude.
Wait, where are you from? You're on the East Coast.
Yeah, dude, I like live in Tom Brady land. I'm in Massachusetts.
That's what I'm saying. Why are you hating on Tom Brady? I thought that's where I thought you're from, Boston area, right?
Because I just have to hear about it like the sports fans I hear are so cocky, dude. You'd hate it too. Man. Like our socks, we broke the curse, reversed the curse. Yo, we're winning in football. We're best in the world. So shut up.
Derailing slightly in Ted, is it Ted 2 where they break into Tom Brady's house and they lift the cover up and like this golden glow just comes out from the cover? Oh my god, that's so funny, man.
It's just like perfect Boston, dude. They love that. He's a
guy.
I
I played hardcore 1 season and I guess I didn't play it hardcore enough because I never died. So I ended up pushing.
You played Crusader, didn't you?
Yeah, I play Crusader. I mean, it's the easiest.
They're hard to kill.
That's hard. That's how you start in hardcore, right? You know, you got 2 cheap deaths. I mean, that's how you do it.
Oh God.
So I didn't push hard enough to kill myself that season. How do you deal with the deaths, man? Like, has you ever had one where it's just like it ruined your day, it ruined your week? You're like upset, or are you always just like, that sucks. Let's go back. You know.
Yes. Season. So I mentioned season 14 because that was one I was like trying to be super competitive on at that time. Impale was like relatively competitive to actually take the top of the leaderboard, and I had like the second best Impale setup on the server. I was like just gearing. I didn't want to push at all because I was like, let me just keep gearing because I know like if I just wait, I'll be fine. But there was one day I decided not to stream, and I was like, I feel it today. Like a clear is going to come. I don't even know what I was pushing back then, like 111 or something. Opened up a desert, and at that point I'm like, okay, this one's got some legs on it, and I kill an elite. I'm ahead on the time, and I vault up to where it's going to exit me out, and I get error 1016 or whatever it is, the disconnection. I stopped playing that season. I was done. That was just all your hopes and dreams, dude. I've never had a death hit me that hard, but like
See, and that's kind of my thing is like, if you make a mistake and you die, it's upsetting. If you die to your internet dropping, your computer locking up, an error from Blizzard server or a bug, things that aren't your fault, that is like crushing to me.
Soul crushing.
And that's probably the biggest reason that I can't venture. Like hardcore was fun the season I played it. It was new to me. So even though I've got 5,000 hours in Diablo, I'm like, I never really played hardcore. It was fun. But man, if I died to a disconnect error or my internet dropping, I don't know, man.
It puts you in a bad
I couldn't
mental
go back
space.
to hardcore, for sure. I'd be like, well, I'm softcore the rest of the season.
All right.
How do you feel about the idea that your hardcore characters roll over to softcore when they die?
So to me, that was actually, it's really weird because before I ever played PoE, I had always heard that was a thing. And I thought, wow, that's actually a really elegant way to like entice people to play hardcore without them feeling like, oh, but I'm just deleting my time when this character, eventually dies. However, I don't think it necessarily cheapens hardcore, but I feel like you'll actually, if you really enjoy hardcore, you'll never even play those characters when they go over to softcore because you just want the hardcore experience again,
Yeah.
I could see people thinking that it cheapens hardcore. 100. I could see why they feel that way.
Yeah.
The purist will definitely tell you that.
Yeah.
This is like, you just know you can die though. So like, you're not going to play it like it's real hardcore.
Right.
What do you feel about the logout macro in PoE?
It's unethical, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I was the biggest person against it. And I used to like go bother Quinn about it whenever I'm like, come on, dude. Like, you should have died there. You should have died there. But I think the way to probably look at it is that like the game allows you to do it successfully. So it's just like a part of the game, I guess, in a way.
Working as intended.
Right? And I think GGG has come out enough to say that like they don't mind that people do it. So I don't know if that's the dev's intent, then can't really get too caught up about it. But I do feel like it kind of ruins the quote unquote purity of hardcore.
I think they can't stop it, so they're just like, yeah, we're okay with it.
Right?
Yeah.
You can't beat it, join it.
Right.
Keyray says, Leviathan, what would you do for extra cash as a side job besides content creation? He asked us this the other day. He wanted to specifically ask you, I guess, too.
That's a cool question. So this is assuming that like content creation pays all the bills. I can just like go do whatever.
I think they're just saying besides content creation. Like if you had a side gig that you would enjoy to make extra cash, what would it be? Like a rock band hero or something,
Yeah, imagine you're not making your millions from Diablo like we all do.
Right. Living in the lap of luxury.
Yeah.
Posters everywhere. I think I actually already did this, and I would go back and do it again. It just didn't make a lot of money, but being a barista, I worked at Starbucks for like 3 months, and maybe because I only did it for such a short time, I think it's kind of a cool job. But just the idea of like, you kind of see people at their worst, because I don't know how much you guys drink coffee, but dude, I like am hangry, like horrible to deal with before I get a good coffee. But you get these people and they come in every day with their like stories. They'll tell you about like how like their dog almost ran away, or like, the mailman didn't quite put the thing in the mailbox, and I'm so angry. But I don't know, you just get this rapport with people from morning to morning. And go ahead.
Do you drink your coffee black?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
You're a psychopath.
Leviathan.
Oh my god.
You guys don't?
No, it's just there's a study out there. This is real. This isn't made up.
Is it too intense?
If you like black coffee, you are more inclined to be a psychopath. So it's just like ongoing meme.
I believe it. I'm probably a little crazy.
No, I can't. It's too bitter for me. Yeah. I can't drink. I have to put creamer in it and sugar.
A little girl
stuff,
when it comes to coffee.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead.
I love it. But
I'm gonna let you in on the secret though. Like, until I worked at Starbucks, this is like I like must have really drank the company Kool-Aid / coffee, because like until I worked at Starbucks, I used to do the same. I used to like put a little bit of coffee into my cream and sugar basically.
Anyway, yeah.
But I think they actually sent me to training classes to like distinguish the difference between medium roast and light roast and dark roast, so you kind of appreciate the different like
nuances,
texture palettes, or like the taste palette of it all. And if you do it enough, like it kind of becomes habit. So I would say with good coffee, like I usually don't have like a Dunkin' Donuts black, because like I like burn it and stuff or whatever. But if it's like a decent coffee, like a nice artisan coffee house or something.
Right.
Sounds so like
There
from a
goes
nice
that Dunkin'
artisan.
Donuts sponsorship. Thanks a lot, Leviathan.
Oh, whoops. I mean, yo, Dunkin' Donuts hit up the new meta. We run on Dunkin' over here.
Yeah. I wish I could like black coffee because it's like so much better for you than just putting a ton of sugar.
Yeah,
in
way
it.
healthier.
But I just don't. I can't do it. I always saw myself like being a barista. Like people talk about like retirement. I'm like, no, man, I don't. Like you just get bored. So I could just see myself being like an old fucking dude working in a coffee shop somewhere.
Right.
Yeah,
man. I think like the personality type that would be a streamer would probably translate well because you like probably telling stories or like just talking to people, you know, and you get new people coming in every day. It's almost the same thing.
Yeah, I love talking about myself. It's my favorite thing.
My boss told me that I'm not an adult until I could drink black coffee.
Damn,
They
son.
straight up lectured me. This is like 10 years ago. And they straight up lectured me like, you're not a real adult until you drink black coffee. And I'm like, guess I'm never going to be an adult then. And still to this day, I mean, I still just can't do it. I try every now and then. I'm like, I'm going to drink this one black today. I'm like, nope.
You got to find a light roast that you like blonde roast at Starbucks. It's like, you guys are going to get sponsored by Starbucks. This is the sponsorship you want.
Right. There we go.
Or even like Caribou coffee, like any breakfast blend, basically. Those tend to be less harsh and a little brighter and maybe a bit more palatable, like just black.
All right, I'm gonna hit you up. I'm gonna like tell me what I should go to Starbucks and order. I'll try one, dude.
I got you.
Let's see, what else do we got? Okay, this is the most important question of the night.
I'm ready, I think.
Okay, bacon or sausage?
You always ask it so like wrong, right? You got to choose between one or the other forever. Okay, you can only have one or the other for the rest of your life.
Oh, wait. So this is like, it's not like what's best. Is like this is it.
Yeah,
well, this is your choice.
You're sacrificing one.
Fluff's trying to influence your answer. It's just Leviathan, bacon or sausage. It's black or white, bacon or sausage. Not black or white.
I just had an omelet this morning that had both in it, and I really couldn't imagine that omelet without both. But that being said, I gotta go bacon.
Yes,
I gotta go bacon.
My man. Thank you so much for that.
There's like it can be crispy, like you can.
Yes.
It's Canadian bacon. Oh, there goes Fluff. All right, well.
And this podcast.
It's the bacon.
I didn't know. Oh man, bacon's so good. Oh look at that! I got a bacon emote. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, bacon emote, man. You know,
that's where it's at, man. You ever had a baconator, bro?
I knew there was a reason that I like this guy
Listen,
so much.
It's not that I don't like bacon, but you're picking between one or the other for the rest of your life. And you're big bacon. Bacon's just bacon. Sausage can be like a million things.
Just bacon.
He's trying to persuade you. It's okay. He already chose Fluff. You already lost.
Sausage is really good.
It's fine, dude. It's fine.
I'm with you. Sausage is good, but bacon?
Bacon. It's fine, Leviathan.
You like bacon, we call you Leviathan.
Salty. Oh, man. That's all the Twitter questions that I have today, guys.
Yeah.
Awesome podcast. Leviathan, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was awesome having you, man.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. This is awesome what you guys do. I'm glad that content for D3 still continues. You guys still are somehow able to put this show on every week. Kudos to you.
Yeah, I carry hard, but
it's not always easy.
Wow. I know Fluffy's heavy too.
Leviathan, tell everybody where they can find you at in case they don't already know. YouTube, Twitter, everything. Throw it out.
All right. So definitely feel free to check out the stream. That's twitch.tv/Leviathan111. Big 24-hour stream coming down the pike for Friday. YouTube is where all the like build guides and news coverage and all that stuff goes. Hopefully that'll be full of stuff in November, right? That's youtube.com/LeviathanD3. And then Twitter, like I was just mentioning, changed up the name there a little bit. So it's twitter.com/that'sLeviathan. And mainly it is a lot of stuff about D3, but also like when I was playing Teamfight Tactics, was talking about some of the content there and strategies and whatnot. So for gaming in general, check that out.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, man. My name is ThaPChild. You can catch me Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, everywhere at ThaPChild.
Lord_Fluffy, double those underscores on the Twitters. We'll see you guys next week, minus at Leviathan. Peace out.
Pieces.